If you think your incognito tab is a shield that protects you from the eyes of the law, you are making a mistake that could cost you your freedom. Most people believe their search history is a private diary of their thoughts. But in a U.S. courtroom, those late-night searches aren't just data. They are evidence of your intent. Today, I am going to show you how a few typed words can turn a regular citizen into a prime suspect. Welcome to Courtroom Secrets. I'm David Hanna. There is a common myth that unless the police have your physical phone, they can't see what you've been looking at. That is dangerously wrong. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal the specific legal loophole that allows prosecutors to bypass your passcode and look directly into your mind. And trust me, you'll want to hear about the Geofence Warrant before it's too late. Let's talk about a case that shook the legal world. This is a fictional scenario based on real, established U.S. privacy laws and digital forensics. Imagine a man named Mark. Mark is a 35-year-old software contractor in Ohio. He's a quiet guy, keeps to himself, and has never been in trouble with the law. One Tuesday morning, while Mark is pouring his coffee, his front door is kicked in by a SWAT team. They aren't there for drugs. They aren't there because of an eyewitness. They are there because of a Google search he made 3 weeks ago. You see, a crime had been committed near Mark's office. A high-end jewelry store was hit by a professional crew. The police had no DNA and no fingerprints, but what they did have was a reverse keyword search warrant. So, this is a powerful and controversial tool where a judge allows the police to ask Google for the identity of every single person who searched for a specific phrase during a specific window of time. In this case, the phrase was the exact model of the heavy-duty glass cutter used in the heist. Mark had searched for that exact glass cutter, not because he wanted to rob a store, but because he was fixing a custom aquarium in his basement. To the police, however, Mark wasn't a hobbyist. He was a lead. They seized his laptop, his phone, and his tablet. They didn't just look at that one search. They looked at everything. They saw his searches for how to disable a home alarm, which he had looked up because his own alarm was malfunctioning. They saw how to get away with, which he had typed while watching a popular TV show. When you string these unrelated searches together, Mark didn't look like a contractor anymore. He looked like a criminal mastermind. Now you might be thinking, David, what about the Fourth Amendment? Doesn't that protect me from unreasonable searches? Well, here is where the law gets tricky. In the United States, the Fourth Amendment generally requires a warrant based on probable cause to search your home or your person, but there is something called the Third-Party Doctrine. This legal principle suggests that if you voluntarily give your information to a third party, like Google, your ISP, or your bank, you lose a reasonable expectation of privacy. So when you type a query into a search engine, you are technically handing that information over to a private company. Because of this, the legal bar for the government to get that data is often lower than it is for a physical search of your house. It is a digital loophole that the law is still struggling to close. I see people get caught in this trap all the time. They think deleting their history solves the problem. It doesn't. Deleting your history only removes it from your device. It stays on the servers of the service provider, and it stays in the backups. By the way, if you're finding this breakdown helpful, do me a quick favor and hit that like button. It helps the algorithm push this out to more people who might not realize how vulnerable their digital footprint really is. So back to Mark. He's in an interrogation room. The lead detective slides a stack of papers across the table. It's a list of every search Mark has made in the last year. Explain this, the detective says, pointing to a search for untraceable tools. Mark explains it was for a gift for his brother, a mechanic. The detective doesn't believe him. This is the pattern of intent. Prosecutors take scattered, innocent searches and weave them into a narrative of guilt. They don't need to prove you did it yet. They just need to prove you were thinking about it. Here is the key reveal that most people miss: the exclusionary rule. In some cases, if a lawyer can prove that a search warrant was too broad, they're asking for every person in a whole city who searched for a word. The evidence can be thrown out. This is where the battle is won or lost. In Mark's case, his lawyer argued that a reverse keyword warrant is a general warrant, which is unconstitutional. It's like searching every house on a block because one person might have a stolen item. So, what should you do to protect yourself? First, understand that your search bar is not a confessional. It is a public record in the making. Second, if you are ever questioned by police about your digital activity, do not try to explain the searches away. Anything you say can and will be used to further their narrative. Simply state, I am invoking my right to remain silent, and I would like to speak with an attorney. Third, use privacy-focused tools. Use search engines that don't track your IP address or store your history. Use end-to-end encrypted messaging, but most importantly, stay informed. The law is trying to catch up with technology, but until it does, you are your own best defense. Make sure you subscribe to Courtroom Secrets. My goal is to make sure you never walk into a legal trap because of what you didn't know. The law is a weapon, and it helps to know which way it's pointing. Remember, your digital life is an open book unless you know how to close it. I'm David Hanna, and I'll see you in the next one. In our next video, I'm going to break down a case where a single text message sent 10 years ago came back to haunt a defendant in a high-stakes murder trial. You won't want to miss that one.